I left my perfect family behind after they rejected me. Years later, Mom's cancer diagnosis brought us together and uncovered an even bigger secret. I grew up in what I believed was the perfect family. My parents, Victor, 52M, and Olivia, 50F, seemed to have an unbreakable bond that withstood the test of time. They met in college, where Dad was studying engineering and Mom was pursuing her degree in education. Their love story was the stuff of romance novels. They were lab partners in a chemistry class, and sparks flew from day one. They dated throughout college, got married right after graduation, and started their life together in a small apartment in the suburbs. I came along a few years later, followed by my older brother Robin, 28M, and younger sister Elena, 24F. We lived in a cozy house on Maple Street, with a big backyard that was the envy of the neighborhood kids. Our weekends were filled with family barbecues, movie nights, and trips to Crystal Lake, where we'd spend hours swimming and fishing. Dad worked as a construction manager for a large development company. He often put in long hours, especially when a big project was nearing completion. But no matter how busy he was, he always made time for us. I remember him teaching me how to ride a bike in our driveway, spending countless evenings helping Robin with his science fair projects, and never missing a single one of Elena's dance recitals. Mom was a high school English teacher who somehow managed to balance her career with being the heart of our home. She had a knack for making even the most mundane days special. I can still smell the aroma of her famous chocolate chip cookies wafting through the house after school. She'd sit with us at the kitchen table, helping us with our homework while she graded papers, always ready with a word of encouragement or a silly joke to lighten the mood. One of my fondest childhood memories is of our annual family vacations. Every summer, we'd pile into our old blue minivan, which Dad affectionately called the Blue Whale, and drive to Sunset Beach. It was a small, quiet coastal town that felt like our own private paradise. Dad would spend hours building elaborate sandcastles with us, complete with moats and seashell decorations. Mom would set up camp under a big umbrella, alternating between reading her novels and joining us for swims in the crystal-clear water. As I entered my teenage years, I started to notice small cracks appearing in what I had always thought was my parents' perfect relationship. They'd have hushed arguments when they thought we couldn't hear, usually late at night or early in the morning. I'd catch glimpses of tense expressions quickly masked with smiles when we entered the room. At the time, I brushed it off as normal couple stuff, the kind of things all parents go through. But deep down, a nagging feeling told me something was wrong. Despite these moments of tension, our family life continued much as it always had. We still had our movie nights and lake trips, though they became less frequent as we kids got older and busier with our own activities. Robin joined the high school football team, Elena threw herself into her dance classes, and I discovered a passion for computer programming. Everything fell apart on my 18th birthday. We were having a small family celebration at home, just the 5 of us, plus my grandparents. Mom had made my favorite dinner, lasagna, and baked a chocolate cake from scratch. We were just about to cut the cake when Dad's phone rang. He stepped outside to take the call, and when he came back, his face was pale and drawn. Mom asked him what was wrong, and that's when the bomb dropped. Dad confessed that he had just received a call from a woman named Lisa. She claimed that Dad was the father of her 19-year-old daughter, Lily. Mom was stunned. She demanded to know why he had kept this a secret for so long. Dad tried to explain that it had happened before they met, during a summer internship in another city. He swore he hadn't known about the child until now. The argument escalated quickly. Mom accused Dad of lying to her for their entire marriage. In her anger, she blurted out that she had also been unfaithful early in their marriage. The room fell silent. We kids were in shock, unable to process what we were hearing. Our grandparents quietly excused themselves, leaving us to deal with the fallout. That's when Dad turned to me, his eyes filled with doubt and pain. He asked Mom if I was really his son. Mom's silence was deafening. She couldn't look at me, and I felt my world crumbling around me. The cake sat forgotten on the table, a cruel reminder of the celebration that had turned into a nightmare. From that day on, everything changed. Dad moved out the next week, renting an apartment across town. Mom fell into a deep depression, barely leaving her room for days at a time. Robin and Elena sided with Dad, blaming Mom for destroying our family. They started treating me differently, as if I was a constant reminder of Mom's betrayal. I tried desperately to keep things normal, but it was impossible. Robin and Elena stopped inviting me to hang out with them. They'd have dinners with Dad and pointedly exclude me. At family gatherings, which became rare and tense affairs, I was treated like an outsider. The whispers and sidelong glances were unbearable. Mom wasn't much help during this time. She was too caught up in her own guilt and sadness to offer me any support. There were days when I'd come home from school to find her still in her pajamas, staring blankly at the TV. I started taking on more responsibilities around the house, doing laundry, cooking meals, even paying bills when Mom forgot. It was a lot for an 18-year-old to handle, but I didn't see any other choice. As months passed, the situation only got worse. Robin and Elena openly blamed me for the family's breakdown. They said I was the reason Dad left, even though I had no control over the situation. Robin, who had always been my protector growing up, now barely acknowledged my existence. Elena, once my confidant and partner in crime, now looked at me with a mixture of pity and disgust. Their words and actions cut deep, and I found myself retreating from everyone. I threw myself into my studies, hoping to escape the toxic environment at home. My grades, which had always been good, now became exceptional as I spent every free moment buried in my books. I started staying late at school, using the computer labs to work on coding projects long after everyone else had gone home. It was easier than facing the cold silence of our house. As my senior year progressed, I applied to colleges far away, desperate for a fresh start. I didn't tell anyone in my family about my applications, not even Mom. When I got accepted to a prestigious university on the other side of the country, I felt a glimmer of hope for the first time in months. The day I left for college was bittersweet. Mom hugged me tightly, tears in her eyes, but she didn't say much. I could see the guilt and regret in her face, but neither of us knew how to bridge the gap that had grown between us. Dad showed up briefly to say goodbye, but it was awkward and strained. He tried to give me some money for college expenses, but I refused, not wanting to feel indebted to him. Robin and Elena didn't even bother to come. As I boarded the plane, I realized that I was leaving behind not just my hometown, but also the family I once knew. The perfect family I thought I had grown up in was gone, shattered by secrets and lies. I was stepping into an uncertain future, alone but determined to build a new life for myself. As the plane took off, I watched my hometown disappear beneath the clouds, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew it had to be better than the pain I was leaving behind. Update 1: It's been 4 years since I left for college, and a lot has changed. I'm now 22 and about to graduate with a degree in computer science. These years away from my family have been challenging, but also liberating in many ways. When I first arrived at college, I was a mess. The pain of my family's rejection was still raw, and I struggled to connect with my peers. I spent most of my first semester holed up in my dorm room, barely attending classes and avoiding social interactions. The few times I did venture out, I felt like an imposter, as if everyone could see the family drama written all over my face. Things started to turn around when I met my roommate, Alex, 22M. He was a boisterous theater major who seemed to know everyone on campus. At first, his outgoing personality grated on my nerves. I was used to silence and solitude. But Alex noticed my isolation and made it his mission to draw me out of my shell. He started small, inviting me to join him for meals in the dining hall. Then he convinced me to attend a few campus events with him. Slowly, he introduced me to his wide circle of friends. I was hesitant at first, but Alex's easygoing nature made it hard to say no. Through Alex, I met Sarah, 21F, who would become my girlfriend. She was a biology major with a quiet intensity that I found comforting. Unlike the forced cheerfulness of some of Alex's other friends, Sarah never pushed me to be more social than I was comfortable with. She was patient and understanding, always there to listen when I needed to talk about my family issues. With Sarah's support and Alex's friendship, I started to heal. I began to open up about my past, sharing bits and pieces of my family drama. To my surprise, my new friends didn't judge me or treat me differently. Their acceptance helped me realize that I wasn't defined by my family's mistakes. I threw myself into my studies and extracurricular activities. I joined the robotics club, where I discovered a passion for AI development. For the first time in years, I felt like I had a purpose and a direction in life. The complex algorithms and intricate coding challenges gave me a sense of control that I'd been missing. During my sophomore year, I received an unexpected call from my sister Elena. Her voice was hesitant on the phone, and I braced myself for bad news. But to my surprise, she was calling to invite me to her wedding. She was marrying her high school sweetheart, and she wanted me to be there. I was surprised and a bit skeptical, given how she had treated me in the past. Part of me wanted to refuse, to protect myself from further hurt. But after talking it over with Sarah and Alex, I decided to attend. I hoped that time had healed some wounds, and maybe this could be a fresh start for our family. The wedding was a bittersweet experience. It was good to see my family again, but the awkwardness was palpable. Dad was there with his newfound daughter, Lily, 20F, which added another layer of complexity to the situation. Lily looked uncomfortable, clearly aware of the tension her presence caused. Robin was civil but distant. He shook my hand and congratulated me on making it to my senior year of college, but there was no warmth in his eyes. Mom seemed genuinely happy to see me, but our relationship was still strained. She hovered nearby throughout the reception, as if she wanted to talk but couldn't find the words. Elena made an effort to include me in the festivities, but I could tell it was more out of obligation than genuine reconciliation. She introduced me to her new in-laws as her brother, but there was a hesitation in her voice that spoke volumes. The most surprising interaction was with Lily. She sought me out during the reception, and we ended up talking for over an hour. She confessed that she felt guilty for the upheaval her existence had caused in our family. We bonded over our shared experience of feeling like outsiders. By the end of the night, I felt like I had gained a sister, even as my relationships with Robin and Elena remained strained. After the wedding, I returned to college with mixed emotions. On one hand, it was clear that my family dynamics were forever changed. The easy closeness we once shared was gone, replaced by polite small talk and underlying tension. On the other hand, the experience made me appreciate the new family I had built for myself at college even more. I decided to limit my interactions with my biological family. I send occasional texts to keep them updated on my life, but I no longer feel the need for their approval or acceptance. My friends, Sarah, and my own achievements have become my primary source of happiness and fulfillment. As graduation approaches, I'm excited about the future. I've secured a job at a tech startup in San Francisco, working on cutting-edge AI projects. Sarah and I are planning to move there together. She's got an internship at a biotech firm in the city. For the first time in years, I feel truly optimistic about what lies ahead. The pain of my family's rejection hasn't completely gone away, but it no longer defines me. I've learned that family isn't just about blood, it's about the people who support you, who celebrate your successes and stand by you through your failures. As I prepare to start this new chapter of my life, I'm grateful for the family I've chosen, even as I continue to hope for reconciliation with the family I was born into. Update 2. It's been 2 years since my last update, and life has taken some unexpected turns. I'm now 24 and working as a software engineer in San Francisco. My career is thriving. I've already been promoted twice, and I'm leading a team developing a new AI-driven application. But my personal life has seen its share of ups and downs. Shortly after we moved to San Francisco, Sarah and I broke up. The stress of starting new jobs and adjusting to life in a big city took its toll on our relationship. We tried to make it work, but eventually, we had to admit that we had grown in different directions. The breakup was amicable, but it left me feeling adrift in a city where I didn't know many people. I threw myself into work as a coping mechanism. I was at the office late most nights, pouring my energy into coding and project management. My colleagues praised my dedication, but I knew it wasn't healthy. I was using work to avoid dealing with my emotions, just like I had used studying to escape my family problems years ago. About 6 months ago, I received news that shook me to my core. My mom, Olivia, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Despite our strained relationship, I felt compelled to reach out and offer support. The thought of losing her, even with all the pain of the past, was unbearable. I took a week off work and flew back home. Walking into my childhood home was surreal. Everything looked the same, but felt completely different. Mom was there, looking smaller and more fragile than I remembered. Our reunion was awkward at first, neither of us quite sure how to bridge the gap of years and hurt feelings. But as I helped Mom navigate her treatment options and accompanied her to doctor's appointments, we slowly began to rebuild our relationship. We had long talks late into the night, finally addressing the issues we'd both been avoiding for years. Mom apologized for how she had handled the situation with Dad, admitting that her own guilt had prevented her from being there for me when I needed her most. During this time, I also reconnected with my siblings. Robin, 30M, had matured considerably. He was married now, with a baby on the way, and the prospect of fatherhood had made him reevaluate a lot of things. He apologized for his past behavior, admitting that he had unfairly blamed me for problems that weren't my fault. Elena, 26F, and I had several heart-to-heart conversations, clearing the air between us. She confessed that she had always felt guilty for how she had treated me, but hadn't known how to make amends. We spent an afternoon looking through old family photos, reminiscing about the good times and acknowledging the pain of the bad ones. Even Dad, 54M, made efforts to mend our relationship. He invited me out for coffee one afternoon, and we had an honest conversation about the past. He expressed regret for how he had handled the situation with Lily and for doubting my paternity. While things remained somewhat tense between us, it felt like a step in the right direction. The most surprising development was my growing closeness with Lily, 22F, my half-sister. She had moved to the same city as our parents to help out during Mom's treatment. We bonded over our shared experience of feeling like outsiders in the family, and she became a source of support and understanding. As Mom's treatment progressed, I found myself spending more time at home. I worked remotely for a month, using the opportunity to reconnect with old friends and rediscover the town I had once called home. It was strange how familiar everything felt, yet how much had changed. One day, while having coffee with Lily, she dropped the bombshell. She had done some digging into her own background and discovered that the man she thought was her biological father, and consequently, our shared father, might not be her real dad after all. She had found some old letters in her mom's attic that suggested there might have been another man in the picture around the time she was conceived. This revelation sent shockwaves through the family. Dad was devastated, feeling betrayed all over again. Mom was confused, wondering how this new development would affect the fragile peace we had all been working towards. Robin and Elena didn't know how to react, torn between sympathy for Lily and concern for Dad. As for me, I found myself in the unexpected role of family mediator. The years away had given me perspective, and I was able to see the situation more objectively than before. I encouraged Lily to pursue the truth, offering to support her in whatever she decided. The rest of the family had mixed reactions, with some wanting to leave the past buried and others pushing for answers. As I write this update, we're still in limbo. Mom's health is improving, but the family dynamics are as complicated as ever. I've decided to extend my stay for another month to help navigate this new family crisis. Despite the challenges, I feel stronger and more grounded than ever before. The pain of the past has lessened, replaced by a newfound appreciation for the complexities of family relationships. I'm no longer the scared teenager running away from his problems, but an adult capable of facing challenges head-on. My job has been understanding about my extended absence, allowing me to work remotely. In a way, this time at home has given me a new perspective on my career as well. I've realized that while I love my work, I don't want it to be my entire life. I'm starting to think about ways to achieve a better work-life balance when I return to San Francisco. As for my personal life, I've reconnected with an old high school friend, Megan, 24F. We've been spending a lot of time together, and there's a potential for something more than friendship. It's too soon to tell where it might lead, but for the first time since Sarah, I'm excited about the possibility of a relationship. For now, I'm taking things one day at a time. Supporting Mom through her treatment, being there for Lily as she grapples with questions about her identity, and slowly rebuilding relationships with the rest of my family. It's not easy, but I'm realizing that family, in all its messy, complicated glory, is worth the effort. Update 3. It's been another year, and I'm now 25. The past 12 months have been a roller coaster of emotions and events that have reshaped my understanding of family and identity. After my last update, Lily decided to pursue the truth about her biological father. With my support, she took a DNA test, and the results confirmed her suspicions. Our dad, Victor, was not her biological father. The news hit our family like a tidal wave, stirring up old hurts and creating new ones. Dad was heartbroken, feeling betrayed all over again. He retreated into himself, spending long hours at work and avoiding family gatherings. Mom, still recovering from her cancer treatments, was caught in the middle, trying to mediate between everyone's hurt feelings. She confided in me that she felt partly responsible for the mess, wondering if her own past infidelity had somehow led to this moment. Robin and Elena reacted differently this time. Instead of lashing out, they rallied around Lily, recognizing that she was as much a victim in this situation as anyone else. It was a mature response that showed how much they had grown. Robin, now a new father himself, seemed to have a new perspective on family and forgiveness. Elena, always the peacemaker, organized family dinners and outings, trying to keep us all connected despite the tension. As for me, I found myself in the unexpected role of family mediator. The years away had given me perspective, and I was able to see the situation more objectively than before. I spent hours talking with each family member individually, listening to their fears and frustrations, and trying to help them see each other's points of view. We decided as a family to help Lily find her biological father. It was a difficult process, fraught with emotional landmines, but we supported each other through it. After months of searching, we finally found him, a man named Michael, 53M, who had no idea he had a daughter. The meeting between Lily and Michael was bittersweet. While they were excited to connect, it also brought up complicated feelings for everyone involved. Dad struggled with feelings of inadequacy, even though we all reassured him that he would always be Lily's real father in every way that mattered. Lily herself seemed torn between excitement at discovering this new part of her identity and guilt over the pain it was causing our family. Throughout this process, my relationship with my family continued to evolve. Mom and I grew closer as I helped her through the final stages of her cancer treatment. She's now in remission, and our bond is stronger than ever. We've had many long conversations about the past, and while we can't change what happened, we've found a way to move forward. Robin, Elena, and I have finally moved past the hurt of our teenage years. We've begun to rebuild our sibling relationship, recognizing that we're stronger together than apart. We've started a tradition of monthly sibling dinners, where we catch up on each other's lives and sometimes even laugh about the drama of our past. Dad and I have made progress too. While we may never have the same relationship we did when I was a child, we found a new understanding and respect for each other as adults. He's opened up to me about his own childhood and the pressures he felt as a husband and father, helping me see him as a flawed human being rather than just dad. As for Lily, she's become one of my closest confidants. We've supported each other through the ups and downs of the past year, and I'm grateful to have her in my life. She's decided to move to San Francisco to attend graduate school, and I'm excited to have her nearby. On a personal note, my relationship with Megan has blossomed into something beautiful. She's been incredibly understanding about my complicated family situation and has even met them a few times. Her presence in my life has been a source of stability and joy amidst all the family turmoil. Looking back on the past 7 years, it's hard to believe how much has changed. The family I once thought was perfect fell apart, but from those broken pieces, we've managed to build something new, not perfect, but real and strong in its own way. I've learned that family isn't just about blood or DNA. It's about the people who stand by you, who support you through the tough times, and who celebrate your successes. Sometimes those people are the ones you're born to, and sometimes they're the ones you choose along the way. As I look to the future, I'm filled with cautious optimism. Our family isn't conventional, and we still have our share of challenges, but we're facing them together. And for now, that's enough.